views and opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect those of Access Fort Wayne, the Allen County Public Library, or any other supporting groups. If you'd like to produce a show, call us at 260-421-1250.
Let me be your lighthouse so I can show you the way. Let me be your shining light, keep you from drifting away. I'm the one that makes you try when...
Hey, hello there. Today, my guest, my special guest and my special friend, my co-host, Terrence Doran.
Thanks, Patty.
I call him Terry.
I like Terrence. Either one's all right. I've been called way worse.
Oh, well, I'm calling you
Yeah.
the best.
Yes, all right. Thank you.
You're my favorite person, and besides my husband, and my best friend. So, welcome to my show.
Thank you, Patty.
So, we have a lot to talk about today.
Yeah, I went on this epic adventure on the Maumee River with Save the Maumee, a nonprofit organization here in Fort Wayne, whose mission is to save the Maumee, save our rivers, clean up the rivers, save our environment, make Mother Earth proud of us. It's our home. And then right after I got back, a week after I got back, we did a show with your help with Three Rivers Art Center for Kids that you and I are involved with, TRAC. And our mission is to use the power of art to combat child abuse. And I fulfilled a dream of 14 years. My brother Rick died in 2000. I've been wanting to get local artists to do his songs ever since he died. And so this year, 2014, that dream came true thanks to your hard work. And so many of the singers were people that were been on the show, Patty's Page. And I want to start by showing one of the songs. It's like a prairie fire. Rick wrote all the songs and performed them at a concert at ArtLink in, I think, 1983. But the music is timeless. And we had about 10 singers, including my brothers, cover songs that Rick sang at that concert. The reason I picked this one to play, because everybody was superb. So I'm not, it's
You're
that,
not singling anyone else,
it's that the lady, there are two people singing and performing, and she's playing, and bless her for doing this, the violin that my blind Uncle Harry played when I was a little boy. It was like the soundtrack to my youth. He's completely blind. He just made beautiful music on that violin. Okay, after he died, my grandmother, who was his sister, kept the violin. Over the years, it just fell into disarray, broken, not playable.
How old is it?
I think it was made in Germany in the late 1800s. Chris,
Wow, over 100 years old.
Yeah, it's over
Almost
100
200.
years old. And Chris, my brother, lives in Bloomington. He's a professor there, Indiana, at Indiana University. He had it repaired. I think we thought it wasn't repairable, but he found somebody and he had it repaired, and you're going to hear it right now. Like a prairie fire. Could you say the two performers? It's
Augustus Berry and Gwendra DeTurney.
And Gwendra's playing the violin. So, thank you.
trembling tenderness and the stirring in our heart as our lips slowly made. Then it wildly left with a sudden start in the cosmic dip. Heating sparks conspire like a prairie fire, like a prairie fire. Oh, I'll always remember your eyes like embers of the warmest gold, burning all through me and speaking to me of the love in your soul. Across the night wind of my mind, the flames move higher and higher, like a prairie fire, like a prairie fire. Everything is contained in you, earth and stars and the heavens too. Your body's like the sea. All we are revealing in the splendor of our feeling rises in the tide of need. Everything is swept before in the light of our desire, like a prairie fire, 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 like a prairie fire.
That was beautiful.
Oh, breathtaking. Oh,
You had some tears come down your eyes there, sir.
this is just a magnificent moment for me. I thank them. I thank everybody that participated. Everybody did it with love. I mean, to the utmost of their talent. Their hearts were as big as their talents, and Rick would have been so pleased.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Well, anyways, what I'd like to know is there are more of his songs on that tape that he did many moons ago. Would you do something like this next year?
I'd love to. Rick had many more songs than were on the tape. We, back then, the recording
It's
mode
about
was
18.
cassette,
Yeah.
and our friend John Dickmeyer, bless his heart, he was able to take that cassette with his computer wizardry and convert it into a CD and put all the songs on the computer, which is how we were able to get the singers to perform them, because most of them didn't even have a cassette player. So
That was cool.
we had about 10 different singers doing different songs. Maybe we should list the singers. I hope I don't forget any. Michael Patterson, Molly Brogan, Fatima Washington. Kyle Holler. He accompanied Fatima. Was on late notice, practically the day before. He asked him if he could accompany her.
Yeah.
John Durnell and Eliza Toth.
And Fernando
Fernando Tarango.
Who had a baby more than a couple of days
He was
ago.
concerned he wouldn't be able to participate because his wife was due any day. In fact, she had their baby, a
She had on
son,
the 12th?
about 4 days
Yeah.
later. But very, anyway,
week
he
later.
did a beautiful rendition of Light Rain Falling. The Chrome Cats.
Oh, the Chrome
Oh
Cats.
my gosh, they've been on your show. Those kids are fabulous. Brother, sister, they blew the roof off with their rendition of Iron Gray
They did a
Skies.
hip-hop version of
Yeah.
Rick's song, and it was beautifully done. They did it in their own style, but the words were there, and that was just beautiful. And the type of music that went along with it, but hip-hop in a way. But that was good.
Yes.
It was a good time.
Yeah, it was fabulous. And Billy
It was-
Youngblood did
yeah.
a very nice
Billy Youngblood did.
talk.
Yeah.
And did we leave anybody out? My brother Jan
And Chris.
played the flute at the end. He wrote
Yeah.
a flute song called Song for Healing.
And
And my brother Chris, who had the violin repaired, wasn't that beautiful? Oh my gosh,
Yes.
it just was a thrill to hear her play Uncle Harry's violin. And Uncle Chris and his friend Shelby Everett covered 2 Rick songs. Those songs were not on the CD. Strip Mine in My Heart and Fools in the Flotsam. About Three Rivers
Fools
Festival.
in the Flotsam.
Yeah.
What was that all about? What does that mean?
He wrote that
it
about
good?
the Three Rivers Festival.
Oh, Fever.
The people going to the festival. It was kind of a satire.
Oh.
And then Chris wrote a tribute to Rick called Starry, Starry Night for Rick, an adaptation from Don McLean's beautiful song about Vincent van Gogh. Starry, Starry Night.
There was a good one, a funny one that Maumee Brogan sang.
Molly Brogan did a
Nuclear something?
stand up and cheer for nuclear power, and the audience loved it. They were laughing because there were some great lines about how you'll be more dead than me, so I win in the end. I mean, nuclear power is going to annihilate the human race, but don't worry, the Russians will be more dead than us. That was kind of his theme, you know.
Oh, my goodness.
And it was, back then there was this big publicity about 3 Mile Island, which unfortunately nuclear power is still in the news, and oil spills all over the place, and he said he saw this guy coming from 3 Mile Island, he said, and the poor guy glowed in the dark. The audience got a kick out of that. So the point of the show to me, and then we read Rick's poem. Rick was abused by her mother. He wrote a poem about that abuse called Auschwitz 1962. You can tell by the title it's none too cheerful. Chris and I read that. And my mother was a demon toward the end of her life. She's only lived to be 41. She was very loving at the beginning when I was a little boy. So in between what happened, nobody really knows. But that was the worst of human nature, child abuse, and you saw the best. The love these people put into covering Rick's song is to honor him. And we have a grant from Cable Fund Access Board, so each performer gets a little bit of a pay, but that isn't why anybody did it. You know, they didn't even know they were going to get $40. So, but we appreciate the grant for sure. And because of that grant, we're going to be bringing in June 28th here at the library, Catherine Reddick, who also wrote a scathing, not poem, but obituary about her mother. Rick chose his artistic expression in a poem.
Right.
Catherine Reddick in an obituary. That got her national prominence.
She was on The View.
And she'll be here June 28th, and thanks to our grant, we're able to pay her airfare and expenses. So 2 o'clock, June 28th, Catherine Reddick.
Here at
Meeting Room A.
Meeting Room A, here at the main library
And it's
downtown.
free and open to the public. She'll also be doing workshops on foster care, which she ended up in foster care with her brother. And your poem that you wrote called To Be on Track, and then 2 of our friends,
Mimi
Burns and Grace Minnick, converted it into music, into a song, and Grace performed it, and the title is Nourish Our Young. And so you wrote it.
It's an anthem for a track.
It's an anthem for track. Grace and Mimi added a little bit, adjusted a little bit to make it better for singing, but it's your song, and we're going to premiere that on June 28th. So
come one, come all.
Yes, it is. And Track has worked with IPFW and Christopher Riley, Office of Diversity and Multicultural Affairs. I'm just so pleased with the response of people like Christopher and Catherine Reddick saying she's coming because she wants to create a sense of urgency about child abuse.
Yes.
Again, the theme that we talked about in an earlier show of the worst of America and the best of America, you know.
Yeah.
And I think Track, the river trip, the people on the trip, the people singing at Rick's show, the very best of America.
Well, tell me in a few words, a brief what Track is, so we can enlighten people, to remind them what we are.
Well, as I mentioned, Rick was abused, I was abused, all my brothers were abused. Chris was young, he's only 4 months old when she died, so he didn't really know her. Jan was the next oldest, I'm the oldest. Rick was 9 when she died.
Oh.
And it was that abuse that led to Rick's death, depression, self-loathing, hearing her voice yelling at him, even as an adult, that inspired me to start Track. And I've had some experience working with organizations on child abuse, and that was the inspiration behind it. And what we've been doing is creating these public programs that we've mentioned to create awareness. We worked with the Dance Collective on a song that 2 young Hispanic artists wrote that was inspired by yet another poem you wrote. And that song, our guest, Kate Majorans, on the show where they premiered it, was so taken by the song that she, as an instructor at the Dance Collective, got 5 of her students, worked, rehearsed, choreographed it, and performed it here at Studio A, here at Access Fort Wayne, and we won an award for excellence in children's programming from Philo Farnsworth Award. So we've won awards, we've worked with the ballet has participated, youth theater, we're going to be working at Byron Health Center on an adaptation of The Wizard of Oz in September. So
we have to get everything, all our ducks in a row.
Right, and we have now the opportunity to provide some classes because Byron will let us use their recreational space.
That's up in Lima. And
yeah, it's kind of far, but it's easy to find. It's right out Lima Road, plenty of parking, really nice people there, and we might have some classes before The Wizard of Oz, but certainly we're looking forward to having kids do set designs and act in it and sing and dance and
so one step
all
at
of
a
that,
time.
one step at a time.
Yeah, so
the ultimate dream is to have our own space downtown on the river, but that's a ways coming because we have to have money and staff to do that. I should say Track is volunteer, just like the River Project. The trip down the Maumee, all volunteer, nobody paid.
No.
People took vacation to
Right.
go on it. We had young mothers, we had all, as I said, all kinds of people, and I don't know what kind of time we have, but so we get to show it. I'd like to show another clip. The previous show I showed a clip. This one is some music on the river from the people that participated. This was spontaneous. This was not planned or anything. We were in a pavilion, and the canoers were getting ready to get in the canoes, getting stuff ready, and they just broke out into this song, and I was lucky. I was charging my battery in there, and actually electricity, which was a coveted item on the trip. And oh my gosh, and I just grabbed the camera and recorded it.
So we're going to look
this
at
is
that.
one of the canoers and one of the filmmakers, Justinian, singing, and you see a lot of talent here.
Okay. Shall we take a look at that? That was a hoot.
Yeah, that's an example of that spirit, that community. That
All the way through all those
this was
days?
unrehearsed, no plan. I mean, you just saw everybody got in the spirit
that
of
was
it. He just
beautiful.
started playing the guitar and singing, and then we joined in with the drum and that Australian instrument. I forget what you call it, but and then I love Amanda and Grace. That was a little
The
baby
baby?
Grace. I said a 12-year-old. Actually, I was wrong. He was not
Well,
the
she
youngest.
was the
Grace
smallest.
was the youngest,
Grace
but the
was the
12-year-old was
smallest,
the youngest
yeah.
canoer. And Grace and Amanda were on the trip most of the way. Amanda was the medic, one of the
she was.
medics. And
she had a wee
took
baby.
care of people. And that little baby, she was 1 year old about on the trip. I think her birthday was a couple weeks after we got back. But yeah, and she was premature, and Amanda had a very rough time. But I just love that how she was dancing with Grace on that clip, you know, and again, in this documentary, the idea is what track is about is this beauty.
Yeah.
of human beings helping each other,
Helping each other.
caring about things
That's
like
right.
the river, caring about each other. And I'm going to call my documentary River Dreams, A Journey in Search of America's Soul.
How long will that take? About a year?
I
Maybe
hope
half a
I
year.
hope not that long. I pretty much have it written,
Yeah.
and now I have to edit it. But I think this contrast of what we've talked about, corporate America, that kind of mentality,
Yeah.
greed, selfishness, versus the sharing, cooperation, kindness.
There is still that in the world, you know.
There is that in the world, and I want
We just have to
to
find
show it because this was not just people talking about going on the river or talking about doing a concert for Rick. These are people, talented
cared.
people who came and did it and
Because
shared
it was a
and
cause,
shared.
It was a strong emotion that we felt at that event that we put on for our tribute to Rick Doran. And I'd like to thank you, Terry Doran.
Well, thank you, Patty. This has been a wonderful
coming on my show
experience.
and everything like that. And I'd like to thank the audience for listening, and hope to hear from you someday. Like to know how my shows are doing, eh? And so I'll see you next week, and have a grand day. Good day, eh? Love you guys. Bye-bye.
Godspeed, my love, until we meet again. You're always in my heart and every dream. Don't let this time apart give in to all our fears. God will keep us close from up above. So until